Hey everyone, Jenny Strebe with Confessions of a Hairstylist here, and welcome to my updo course. And this is in honor of my Facebook webinar that I did. You can find on hblive.com. So what I went ahead and did on my hblive.com webinar is I did two styles that were kind of like the boho beauties theme to it. So you guys can learn a cool updo and a really easy bohemian style. So I kind of wanted to show you guys my teaching style on this mannequin here. Now this is Nadine from Pivot Point. And as you can see, I pre-curled her hair. I used a 3/4 inch curling iron and then just wrapped it for a lot of curl and a lot of volume. So today I'm gonna be showing you guys how to get a really easy fishtail bohemian up style. And the reason why I wanted to try this technique and show you guys is that I feel that, since it's November, it's the holiday season, a lot of people are gonna want those holiday looks, so this is a really, really easy one. My niche has definitely been kind of showing you guys easy techniques and kind of simplifying updo techniques. So that's what we're gonna be going over today. And if you guys have a mannequin like Nadine, you guys can do this along with me. You can watch it at any time, and you can certainly do that the same with my HB Live webinar. So I'm just brushing her out, and you can see that she has this really gorgeous wave to her hair. The Nadine mannequin doll head actually has some layering, so I haven't pre-cut her or anything. You can see that she has a little bit of face framing layers, and that's why I like using the Nadine, because it's salon reality, right? So a lot of our clients inside the salon don't have one length, so this is a great salon reality. So first step, we went ahead and prepped the hair again with a 3/4 inch curling iron. I'm gonna go ahead and section out a halo section on top, and we're gonna work with that section momentarily. So I'm taking the end of my tail comb, and a couple inches away from the hairline, we're gonna start with our halo section. And this is kind of the area that most clients like, that little bit of volume, right? So this is gonna be the area where all the teasing is gonna go into, and then we're gonna be working that braiding technique through in underneath that halo. So again, just creating our halo. Make sure that the sections are really nice and clean. It's just like hair cutting, you guys. You wanna start off by having nice, clean sections. That's gonna really set you up for success, because you're gonna be able to have a really nice balance to your braids or your up styles. So just gonna check this through. And feel free, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask. I wanna make this really interactive and fun today. Okay, so once I get her sectioned out, I'll show you guys what that looks like. So you guys can see here. Boom, a nice halo section. We're gonna go ahead and clip that away for later. And I always like to think of, when you're working with an up style technique, you kind of want to piece your puzzle together, right? I say it all the time. I feel like a lot of hairdressers will kind of look at a head of hair and seem to get overwhelmed, but if you take it piece by piece and slowly piece your puzzle together, it makes it a lot easier for you. Your clients feel good because they know that you're confident as well. So you can see we have all these curls. So we're gonna go ahead and section it out in the back, and I'm gonna do a little bit of a zigzag parting here, and then clip away the left side for later. So we're gonna do a very loose on the scalp fishtail braid. Should get a heavier duty clip here. Nadine's hair is fairly thick, which is great. Okay, so you guys can see I sectioned her hair pretty far over. Anytime I'm doing updos, I always go at a slight angle. That way the density of the hair is a little bit more even, and you can't see that parting back. So now I'm gonna go ahead and take my first section. We're gonna go ahead and do kind of a slight diagonal. And you could always bring some pieces out, if your clients like a little softness around the face. Okay, so we're splitting the hair in half. You want to make sure the density of the hair is the same in each section. So it feels a little thicker to my right. I'm just going to move a little hair over to that left. Okay, so we're going to make one pass, one stitch on each side. One piece of hair, like the side goes right to left, section of hair left to right. That's our first cross. Now we're gonna be adding hair. So we're gonna add a little bit of hair to that right. You wanna make sure that your sections are very similar to right to left. We're just gonna bypass the middle. We're not gonna actually add it to that right. We're bypassing it and just crossing it over. Loose tension for this type of style. So you can see over here, now we're gonna take a small piece of hair and we're just gonna cross it over to the right. Again, small piece of hair from our right, cross it over. Small piece of hair from the left, cross it over. And we're just gonna continue until we get to the ear. Again, very loose. You can tell that I'm over directing it. We want it to kind of circle around like our section because we're gonna pull it out and we don't necessarily want to see that parting. I'm gonna tighten her up here in the bottom here. She's getting a little, there we go. Okay, so we're back over to the left. Gonna work a little bit faster for you guys now. Right to left, left to right. Body positioning is changing. I'm working alongside the head shape. Left to right. Maybe leave a little piece of hair left, kind of down here. Okay, so now before I add more hair, what I'm gonna go ahead and do is I'm gonna add a little bit of texture spray in there. If I can open it here. Didn't get my workout in. Okay, spraying some texture spray. Now we're gonna pinch and pull these sections here. Pinch and pull, really bringing out that curl. You guys can see. Doing the same thing on top. Really pulling up that curl, that volume, that texture that we had created from curling it. So now we're moving on again. So now we're gonna go on the left side, left to right, right to left, left to right. And we're over directing it down. Again, over directing it where our halo is, right to left, left to right, right to left, left to right. So we have a couple more sections here. Grab this last bit of hair. There's just a tiny piece left. We'll put that with our other piece here. Okay, so now before we continue with our fishtail braid, again, we're gonna go ahead and use a little texture spray. And then pinch and pull. You guys can see that. And then on the top, pulled out, pulled out, pulled out. Now we're going to continue to do a standard fishtail braid going right to left. Move her here. Left to right. Okay, we're gonna move a little bit quicker. This is a good one for layers, you guys, because as long as you curl it, the layers kind of pop out a little bit and kind of just create a little bit more of a bohemian kind of soft look, because the layers might kind of come down. As long as it's curled, it kind of goes with the whole look. So I get that question a lot. Do we have any questions?
Not yet.
No? All right, so getting to the ends. Over here, you guys can see. And it's super, I want to go ahead and point out, you know, when watching any of the webinars or even these lives, you know, if you have a model in your chair and you can do it along with us is really, really key. Or if you have a mannequin like the Nadine, because I don't know, it's really important to be able to like get that hands-on training too. Okay, so securing the ends of the hair elastic. Then we're gonna go ahead and pinch and pull it out. So like just pinching it and in those sections, because you want to see that definition. And I usually go right and then I go over to the left.
3 questions about the texture spray. And then someone wants to know if it's a pivot point head.
Yes, it is a pivot point head. It's actually the Nadine from Pivot Point. And the texture spray, it's something that I'm testing for something, so just throwing it out there. You guys will know shortly. But there's a lot of amazing texture sprays out there. Okay, so you guys can see that. So that's gonna ultimately wrap around. We're gonna go ahead and clip this over to the other side and then turn her. And you guys can see that like, it's gonna create like a really nice kind of soft look around the face. Now we're gonna do the same thing over here. Just nicely comb her out. I'm gonna grab a hair elastic and move to the other side. Body positioning is very key too, you guys. Okay. You can see I'm taking the section at a slight angle. You never wanna section out in front of the hairline because it's gonna split and open there. You want it, if it's gonna split, you want it to be kind of in this area because no one's gonna be staring on the top of her head. Unless you're really tall, I guess. Okay, so 2 sections, right to left, left to right. She keeps on turning here. Okay, so now we're back on the right side, a little bit of hair, cross it over. A little bit of hair over here, cross it over. And
Linda wants to know, she said, I'm always challenged doing braids with fine hair. Any advice to expand the fine hair to make it look bigger?
Oh my gosh, absolutely. So, and that was Linda, right?
Yes.
Coming from Linda. So Linda, that's gonna be all in your prep. So I am a huge fan of mousses. And the reason why, because mousse is kind of coarse in the texture and it creates a lot of volume. So if you use a mousse on wet hair, blow dry it in on base and really create that fullness and volume, really picking it up at the root, that's gonna create a lot of volume, a lot of longevity to the hairstyle, and it's gonna ultimately make your client with fine textured hair look a lot thicker. I'm a huge fan of mousse. Okay guys, so now I'm gonna pull this out a little bit before we continue on. Pinch and pull, really help popping that up. Pinch and pull, pinch and pull. Okay, so moving on our left, cross it over. And you guys, this is a fairly simple technique. I go a little bit more depth in my HB Live webinar, but this just kind of shows you how easy an updo can be by utilizing a simple braiding technique. Definitely it's gonna help with the product, the sectioning, how you prep it, and I go over all of that in my webinar. Okay, we just have a little bit more hair left over directing it. Gonna grab the rest of this hair and this little bit of hair here, just gonna pull that all in. Okay, so before pulling it out even more, excuse me, Grab the texture spray. Okay, so now we're gonna pinch and pull these guys down. Perfect. All right, so now we're gonna continue down and just do a simple fishtail technique. Is there any more questions?
They want to know what kind of mousse you would use.
You guys, I love any standard mousse. I would say medium hold, something that's very moldable. I have my favorites.
And then they want to know what you prepped your mannequin with.
I prepped her with a thickening spray and then a mousse. And then as I was sectioning her, I went from nape all the way up and took section by section and took 1-inch sections and wrapped it with my curling iron. In each section, before I curled it, I actually used some hairspray. So a flexible hold hairspray, and that gave it a lot of hold, body, and texture as well. So I'm over directing it because it's gonna go up here ultimately. And the great thing about incorporating braids in upstyles is that this is gonna stay all day because it's in its little stitching, it's in its section. So even if a bit of layers kind of pop out here and there, I think it adds to it. Okay. So now we're gonna go ahead and pinch and pull. Right in these sections here. Do the same thing on the right side. Okay. Perfect. So now we have these guys, and ultimately they're going to be kind of swooped over and pulled up. But before we do that, we're going to go ahead and release our halo section. And look how much volume she has. I mean, you guys can feel free to get creative. You know, you could always leave this hair down and kind of pull this hair around it. So there's a lot of different things you can do with this technique. So now what we're gonna go ahead and do is, you know, we have a lot of fullness and a lot of volume through in the sides, but we wanna add a little bit height up here. So we wanna elongate the face, right? So by doing that, we only really wanna focus on teasing the hair kind of in a rectangular-like section. You don't want to get too much bulk in through the sides. So what I like to do, you might want to go up a little bit for this, is I like to take my tail comb. I'm going to do a little bit of a zigzag parting. So that way that it kind of interlocks the sections. Then we're just going to hold it kind of straight up. And then get in there and tease it just at the roots. Gonna take another section here, zigzag part it, get in there. Actually, her hair is a little silky right here, so I'm just gonna use a little bit of hairspray just to kind of coarsen it just a little bit. You could also use a dry texture spray. You can also use a powder at this point. Ooh. Just dropping stuff here. Okay. All right. So not too much, just a little bit. So now we're gonna go ahead and flip that over. I like to kind of use my fingers at this point just to kind of like comb it out. You want to make sure that you can't see any of the back combing or the teasing through in that top layer. So now I'm going to use some more hairspray and kind of comb through with my fingers and gather the hair very low kind of occipital bone area. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and just create a ponytail, kind of facing downwards. So make sure the ponytail is facing down. We're gonna hold on to this, use some hairspray. Now what we wanna do is we wanna pop some of this curl back up, holding on to this ponytail and pinch and pulling it up for an erratic texture. And then spreading it out. Okay. So there's a lot of different ways you can go ahead and do this now. So ultimately, again, this is gonna kind of swoop up and go around. I wanna go ahead and do a rope braid through in here, but you could certainly maybe kind of loop it, add some soft pieces, you know, feel free to get creative. So now we're gonna go ahead and do 2 sections, twist to the right, up and over to your left, twist to your right, up and over to your left, twist to your right, up and over to your left, and continue down till you get to the ends. Securing it with a hair elastic. Okay. Using a little bit of hairspray. We're gonna hold on to this a little bit, very loosely, right? And then just pinch and pull this up to really create a big fat rope braid. And then we're gonna create a bun. So we're just gonna flip it around and bobby pin it into place. Okay. So just taking it, flipping it around, taking the ends. I like to go in a circular fashion here, so left to right, taking the bobby pin, lip down, okay? I'm gonna show it you guys on this side first though. So lip down, I'm gripping onto all that hair, and then I'm gonna flip it around and point it towards the elastic, and we're gonna do that all around the head. Grab that a little bit. So this is just going to be our base for our hairstyle. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and take this. We're going to just wrap it around, okay? Before I do, I'm going to I kind of want to create a little bit more fullness in our fishtail. So I'm just going to take the ends and kind of pull some of this fishtail out a little bit more, because I kind of want it to be really kind of loopy almost. Cool. Doing the same thing on the other side. Okay, I'm gonna do the same thing with this braid. And I'm holding on to it with really light tension. Okay, so now we're gonna play around. This is gonna come around. I'm gonna fold the ends in here and pin it in there, and this is gonna go up. So my little trick for this guy is I fold them in so you can't actually see the ends. And then we're gonna take that bobby pin. Again, the lip is down, and then we're folding it in, pushing it towards the hair elastic. We're gonna do the same thing on the side here. Perfect. So now we're gonna take this one and do the same thing. Kind of want a little bit more loopy here. It's gonna meet the other one. We're folding in the ends. Taking the lip, okay, pushing it down. Does anyone have any questions? Okay, maybe not. All right, so we're gonna kind of look at it, pull some of these guys up, taking the hairspray now, pulling these little pieces up really delicately, using some more hairspray. Making sure we can't see that section, that parting from our halo. Okay, I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side, kind of intermixing these two together. Just gonna spread this out and then pull on these guys on the top. Okay, so I'm actually going to take this piece with a hairpin and just kind of pin it, kind of connect it a little bit more. There we go. And you could even pull some of these pieces out, like at the nape of the neck. I think that would look pretty. You know, you can do a lot of different things with it and just have fun. So this is just, again, a really easy style. Literally just came up with it earlier for fun. I'm gonna finish it off with some shine spray. Now, a big question I get, you guys, is that a lot of people don't wanna see the flyaways. They don't wanna see the frizz, right? So if you finish it off with a aerosol shine spray, it's really just gonna help lay those cuticle down and help prevent any of those frizz. So I always put the shine spray on last. So, and if she was a real client, I'd probably suggest maybe adding a little bit of, I don't know, a little bit of layers through in here to make that a little bit softer of a piece, but you guys get the gist. So I wanna go ahead and point out, you know, this is done obviously on mannequin hair and dark mannequin hair. So if she was a client who wanted this type of style, I'd probably suggest a little bit of a light balayage or something. That way that you could really see all the tonal definition and the definition in that braid. I think that's really, really key. But if you can do this hairstyle nicely on a mannequin, you can certainly do it on a client. So I hope you guys enjoyed my super easy double fishtail braided up style. That is about it. I'll stay on here for just a few minutes if you guys have any questions. Any at all. Do you guys like it? Nice, right?
Angela
Easy?
Wants to know, would a zigzag part look good for the side part?
For a part like through in here, you mean? For the parting?
So.
Yeah, I think a zigzag parting would look okay for the side part. But one thing you want to consider if you want to do a side part that's a zigzag is I would suggest it being a little fuller and a little like extended from the head. So fuller opposed to like straight down, because if it was like really shellac to the head, you'd see that zigzag. So you'd probably want to create a little bit more volume with that. But a lot of my clients will actually kind of want that severe kind of side parting shown right through in there and then have it kind of swept over. But I think that's an excellent idea. Does anyone else have any questions?
We have a question about what if they have long layers? How would you keep the pieces in the braid?
If they have long layers in the fishtail braid, the great thing about fishtail braids is that the sectioning is so small and it's quite tighter than a 3-strand, a 5-strand or whatnot. So it actually will kind of help interlock the hair a lot easier than a lot of other braids. I like it when a few little layers kind of pop out, especially in the back, because I think it just kind of adds something really nice to it. Little delicate pieces kind of flowing out. You just want to make sure that you do pre-curl the hair before you braid it, so if those pieces do pop out, that it kind of adds like bend and shape to it, and it helps kind of curve in with the braid. But I think long layers with this type of style is super ideal. It's when they have shorter layers that it gets a little bit tricky.
Linda wants to know, where you go, what you think the bridal trends for 2019 are going to be.
Linda, the bridal trends for 2019, I think, well, what I've been seeing a lot of is those very low nape of the neck hairstyles. So almost looking like it's gonna fall out in any second. And a good way of creating those styles is you could create this similar look, maybe over direct the fishtail braid down a little bit more so it kind of droops alongside that neckline, and then pin it into your base so it has that control and longevity to the style. But I've been seeing a lot of that. I don't think braids are gonna go away anytime soon. I think people are gonna start doing a lot more of different combinations of braids inside their hairstyle. Any other questions? Well, thank you guys so much for joining me. Definitely check out my HB Live webinar, hblive.com, I believe. We'll go ahead and put the link over there shortly so you guys can check it out. So this is just a small little snippet of a very easy style, but what you can catch on the webinar is 2 styles that are very relevant right now, and I called it my boho beauty. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you guys soon.